Good morning, and thank you very much, Chairman Wyden, and to the committee for the opportunity to be here. I'm Kathryn Clay, Executive Director of the Drive Natural Gas Initiative, a collaborative effort between America's Natural Gas Alliance and the American Gas Association. The 53 participating companies of our initiative are natural gas utilities and producers that together share a commitment to advancing the use of natural gas as a transportation fuel. We are the infrastructure part of that equation, and it makes sense as a nation as we face the challenge of building out a new national infrastructure to bring to bear the possible investment and expertise of utilities and producers as we work to meet that challenge. We've heard other speakers today talk about the new abundant supply. We have the challenge as a nation now to try to meet that abundant supply by growing our own abundant demand to take advantage of the full benefit of natural gas for our country. Natural gas today provides nearly a quarter of the primary energy for our economy as a whole, but only 1/10% of the energy used to power the transportation sector. So clearly, it's a very important candidate for us to look to as we think about how we can grow demand in this country. At the same time, the United States is the largest producer of natural gas in the world, and yet we are home to only about 1% of the 15 million natural gas vehicles in use in roadways around the world today. Using natural gas to displace petroleum fuels can help improve our environment, enhance our energy security, and strengthen our balance of trade. Since 2007, the United States has run a $1.7 trillion deficit in crude oil and petroleum products, and that's a 53% share of our total trade deficit over the same period. Fortunately, market forces favor greater adoption of natural gas as a transportation fuel. This week, the national average retail price for compressed natural gas was fully 44% cheaper than gasoline, and as we've heard previously, about 50% cheaper than diesel. Smart policy choices can support and help accelerate what the market is already helping us to do. For example, there are existing barriers. Some have been noted by other witnesses that I'll just mention briefly to underscore their importance. But there are other revenue-neutral incentive possibilities that we can use to incentivize natural gas vehicle adoption. First, as we've heard from a couple of our previous speakers today, the liquefied natural gas tax rate, the federal excise tax rate, is structured to be disadvantageous to LNG versus diesel fuel. And that's because it's taxed on a volumetric versus an energy equivalent basis. Simply fixing that would restore truly a level playing field, and as a matter of fairness, as well as a good option for encouraging more natural gas vehicles to enter into the sector. Second, as we've heard, weight restrictions on trucks using natural gas also work against natural gas vehicle adoption because of the added weight of the storage tanks and the fuel. NGV operators must compensate with smaller payloads, and allowing for an adjustment for those vehicles would remove a significant market disadvantage. Third, the administration has already begun work on the next round of fuel economy and greenhouse gas standards for medium and heavy-duty trucks. Last summer, the administration included revenue-neutral production incentives for natural gas vehicles in the light-duty rule, an incredibly important step forward and one that our industry strongly supported. Unfortunately, the heavy and medium-duty rule adopted in 2011 did not include comparable provisions to promote NGVs. The new rule under development now is a key opportunity to correct that oversight. And finally, research and development on natural gas vehicles and fueling technologies is a critical and underfunded area at the Department of Energy. We applaud the current MOVE program funded by ARPA-E, but note that the funding levels are quite small compared to the annual budgets, which are line items for other alternative vehicle research. We ask the committee, through its oversight capacity, to encourage a more balanced vehicle research program that includes natural gas on an even footing with the other alternative fuel options. Thank you, and I look forward to the roundtable discussion.
So, Dr. Clay, what would it take for natural gas to become a drop-in fuel?
Well,
because part of what I'd like to see for our country, sort of down the road, is something that I really call a filling station, rather than a gas station, where the consumer pulls in, has a choice of 4 or 5, different fuels. All of these fuels have to compete for the consumer's dollar, and the consumer benefits from the fruits of competition and choice. What would it take to make natural gas a drop-in fuel?
One of the most important things that we can encourage are biofuel vehicles. So these are in the same sense, the same spirit of a plug-in hybrid where you have a small gasoline tank as well as a battery for a power source. The concept of a biofuel vehicle uses a gasoline tank and a natural gas storage tank. When you talk about drop-in fuels, in a certain technological sense, we're already there. The engines that operate on gasoline today can run just as well on natural gas. Having a biofuel approach for the vehicle is a way to make the technology more seamless in terms of its access to infrastructure. In the early days, as we're building out the national infrastructure, having the option of using natural gas when you can because of the market advantage and that strong price advantage makes sense, but having the gasoline as a backup in those times when you're using the vehicle when infrastructure is not available in the early years is the way forward. The combination of using biofuel vehicles and home refueling appliances will open up the light-duty market in a way that will be truly game-changing.
I think it would be very helpful if you and some of the people that you're working with, Dr. Clay, could get us a little paper on that, because I am getting asked that question all over the country now. I'm getting asked it at community meetings in Oregon and everywhere else that I go. I think people would very much like to know what the game plan is for natural gas, particularly to become a drop-in fuel.
Okay, thank you.